Podcast. Today we got a very special guest, and I don't think that recorded that first part, but that's okay. This is ROIS Podcast. So today we got a very special guest. His name is Mr. Nick Ozog. He's been on here before when we talked about one of our most famous episodes where we talked about EverGrow Coin. And since then, Mr. Ozog has been, following EverGrow Coin very closely, and they've got a lot of cool things coming up. So, how you doing, Ozog?
Thank you guys for having me on. I'm doing great. Love to have some great conversation tonight.
Hell yeah, dude. So, just kind of to get into EverGrow Coin, because that's, they've got a lot of really important updates coming up and cool updates that are gonna, kind of drive the price upwards, or at least the volume, which is kind of the main thing there. And for those of you that don't know about EverGrow Coin, it is a hyper-deflationary token, a reflection token, where you get paid out rewards in BUSD, and it's on the Binance Smart Chain. So, what are some cool things that you've been seeing with EverGrow Coin?
Yeah, I've been keeping up with the team on Twitter. They do a great job engaging with the community, with the news, updates, and etc. So, first, breaking down what was currently going on in a lot of discussions is the buyback and burn. So currently they have a burn wallet that buys up EGC, and this increases the price, creates rewards for token holders, but this also reduces our supply. So as we're generating more revenue, we're allowing the supply to go down, increase price, and generate more rewards for token holders. So it's a win-win-win. Currently, they just listed on the Digifinex, and this was pretty big news as they had 3 releases that are coming out in the next few weeks, I'd say. So right now they have a 3% transaction fee that goes to the buyback and burn. So after day 4, I'm going to break down the list of what's actually happened. So currently they're on the main screen page for Digifinex page. So, it's people can see it right when they hop on. Volume was at 2.21 million. And this would equal, don't want to break it down, but a lot of tokens. 3% of that would be 66,300, which would be 151.2 billion EGC tokens. That means that for 4 days, $207,000 equals 483.7 billion EG tokens will get burned. And the daily average is 120,925 billion tokens. So this is really big. Price right now shouldn't be impactful as much as you think. Near the end of the month is when they're trying to achieve this burn, which I believe is going to be in their schedule as of future months. The lower the price, the more tokens we can burn. So this will be more effective if we are able to keep price down, given this time period with a lot of volume, burn more, price goes up, more green candles, more FOMOing. And that's when you kind of get into the heat of kind of taking off as a project, as they already have, and they're kind of leading up. Obviously, with volatility in the market, it's been the price has gone down a bit, but as a deflationary token and being funded by these revenue projects of these utilities, it's going to change the game because they haven't even had these utilities out yet. So there's been no funding for this BNB or BBBN. And now we have that. So I think the next 2 we're going to be having are going to be coming out are the NFT marketplace and lending, which I think will be the next one, as well as the creator launch, which is our social media platform. With those, we're going to have, we don't know the fee rate with the NFT marketplace, but I know there's going to be lending. So this will be something that is going to be grabbing on to a lot of token holders' attentions, as well as the creator launch will have a 5% fiat fee to the buyback and burn. But that's kind of the news I've been reading a lot and engaging in. There's 2 great YouTubers I would highly recommend checking out, and that'd be LSP TV and Crypto Control. Both of them kind of break down, one more on the charts, the other more on kind of interactions with AMAs, as well as, any Twitter, Discord, or conversations that are occurring. And this really helps, holders have a better understanding of what they're holding, as well as more information in the coming months of what they're going to be doing. So,
dang, dude, that's a lot of shit.
Yeah. Sorry. No. I'll take a break there, but yeah.
Yeah, man. So, since we last had you on, I guess what are some of the on their roadmap? What are some things that we've seen, kind of be done. Like,
come to fruition.
Yeah.
So right now it would be that listing. They have been in works with this NFT marketplace coming out. They've been talking with designers about the platform. I know they're having people on Creator beta testing with 10,000 users, I believe. They're getting up to that point. So they want to make sure it's feasible when they bring it to market, because a high influx of people coming in could cause a crash or anything on the website, and this would not really help the
project.
Kind of help the startup. You really want to be, which I understand they missed a Q1 deadline, as you say, but this was just a roadmap, not a deadline. And that's what you have to focus on. A lot of these projects have that idea of, you don't need to be strict. I'd rather perfect it than to rush it just to meet a deadline. And that's what the team is focused on. And they've relayed this message to all holders. So that's a big thing, as well as a little bit ago, they released a Metaverse deal with Abstract. It's a U.S. company. They're going to be dealing with them more in Q4, but this is really interesting, as this would bring the project into a more meta. And I think there's a lot of traction in that industry.
The Metaverse.
So I think that and I think the idea of getting with a smaller company like Abstract will allow more engaging with creating an actual perfect system versus, and there's been, if you check out the Twitter, you've seen they have videos already with EverGrow stuff, some like tours. So they're in the works of that. So that is more later on in the future outlook. But this is something that is very enticing for an owner of EverGrow token, as well as anyone who's even possibly considering it.
Right.
There's going to be more interaction with those teams rather than if it was a bigger meta, VR company. I feel like it would be less engagement, less perfection in it.
Right.
It'd be a lot more simplified. I think now it's just going to be, this is a great company who they've also changed the way they've done things. They've I believe they were a brick and mortar or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but I know they've adapted themselves. So this is someone who's, a company who's decided to make a strong change, a strong shift, and they've been successful. And I think that management style, as well as the style with EverGrow Sam, will be a great combination. So those are something that's something I'm really very excited about. But
they got great.
That's kind of all I got. Yeah.
I mean, they got great leadership, like EverGrow Sam, and then EverGrow Paul. Like, these are names that you just kind of, you get to know once you start following EverGrow Coin. And I think something cool too is like EverGrow Coin, like, how you said they missed that Q1 deadline, but like they did that because it wasn't like they didn't want to release something that wasn't perfect, like what they're trying to do. And I think that's much better, rather than rushing it, just trying to get it out there so people will buy in, because it's about that long term, especially with like a token like this, and then with passive income, like DAOs becoming, 2022 is the year of the DAO. So like, like tokens like EverGrow Coin, I think are going to really start to see some traction, because people are going to be looking for new ways to earn passive income, and they're going to stumble upon, there's SafeMoon already, but SafeMoon, it's there. It's cool, but like EverGrow Coin is like the fucking shit, dude, when it comes to hyper-deflationary shit. So yeah, man, I mean, everything you said, I agree with. Roy, what do you think?
I guess just like a question just for like the fans, I think is something to throw out there, but why this coin? This coin has had some sporadic price movements through this like walk-in, and if I'm somebody that doesn't follow it as much, what's going to help this prevail? I mean, you guys probably talked about it a little bit, but why this one over all the other ones towards the future here? And why is this going to do it?
Yeah, it's a great question. Obviously, a question of concern for people who are, uneasy about any investment. Obviously, you want to have your due diligence and time to make sure you're making that right financial decision. I'm obviously not a financial advisor. I don't recommend anything, but I give my point of view and what I think is right, what I think from what I've seen, what I've learned. Currently, the number one token for passive income, generating passive income, 6 months old. It's just a little baby. It's barely done anything. All the hype has just been around the idea of utilities, and now the utilities are coming out to generate the revenue. So I think major concern would be, you understand, oh, wow, the price went down. Okay. look at most cryptocurrencies at this state. Most are down from their all-time highs. The idea of the hype build around it, and I understand all the hype was there. They didn't have everything done yet. The first 3 months, even EverGrow Sam has said, they were just shocked about like they were getting into the system. I mean, he's switched industries. They were just kind of getting their feet warm. The past 3 months has been developers working on the Metaverse project, developers working on NFT marketplace and lending, developers working on the creator launch. This is, and they've been trying to perfect it. So this is, if you have a long-term goal with your crypto portfolio or with anything involving your investments, this is something to keep an eye on and something to actually be very keen on in the next few months, given the releases and to see how the revenue stream works. And with the buyback and burn, I think there's going to be, I make no predictions over here, but I do think there's going to be people regretting or fudding. The people who've been fudding right now will be upset they didn't get in now, just because I think the green candles generated from revenue that I think will happen for these utilities that they're releasing will catch a lot of eyes. And it already has before these, with the Digifinex listing, it's been telling how the volume has really taken off, and this is just a listing.
Right.
Imagine when they're getting they're going to be having their EverGrow exchange and the wallet, and they've talked about moving your wallet from Trust Wallet to the EverGrow Wallet, and all of these things. These are just, that's the next step. It's not even, they're already in the process of working on those, but the next two things coming out are big. So keep an eye out for that.
That'll be huge with the wallet, dude. Like, and I know that when they spoke about it, or at least like the AMA I listened to was, it's going to be like Trust Wallet, which is great because that incorporates different chains and whatnot. And then like, it's basically like just, they're doing it so well. Their marketing team is phenomenal because, I think they said the focus for the wallet isn't necessarily like, this is going to like cause a bunch of people to buy EverGrow Coin, but it's going to get them to know, like get their name out there, which is really important.
Be big.
And you would pay
something did get released a few weeks ago. There was a simplex buy button on Trust Wallet. This was beta tested. This was not supposed to be released, but I know that is in the works to buy directly from Trust Wallet. So I know that was released. I don't think they wanted that released, but I know that's in the works. So it's not done, but if you had been keeping up with your Trust Wallet and looked, I did see it on mine. There's a buy button on the top right corner. I don't know if it's still there, but I know it was
I saw that.
as of a couple weeks ago. And that is something they're still beta testing. But interesting to keep an eye out for. That could be another release or something like that they might be coming out with. So,
real quick, just kind of like a crazy, not crazy, but like a innovative idea is like, imagine a DAO where they have incorporated into it, like for one of the treasuries, they just have like hyper-deflationary tokens, reflection tokens, like EverGrow Coin, Safe Moon, and then I'm sure there's other ones out there, but those two are like the big players, I think. Like imagine that plus, the passive income you'd be earning from like, having a treasury set up in the DAO that is also like having Solana,
like an ETF.
Yes, like an ETF, but also with the reflection tokens.
Yeah,
that's kind of like.
And then you're generating the passive income as you go, kind of like a dividend.
Yes, dude.
Oh, I think we're just a little bit away from that.
We are, bro. We are. And who knows, it could be a ROIS DAO for anyone out there. We've set up a DAO. It's not fully functioning, or it's not fully ready for, people to, I don't want to have anyone join and then, be like disappointed in the amount of volume or action that we've been doing. So we will be releasing more about that later on. But for now, we just, we're just here, we're just here fucking making money. But yeah, also I want to say we're not financial advisors either. We're just giving our ideas in a closet.
I did look up some information on DAO. I really think the idea of I think it's the next age of investing overall. This, break it down to Decentralized Autonomous Organization. So this will kind of give more of an equal say in the decisions made. Is that's what I've understood. And I think there's more money to be made. And And I really liked what you were mentioning before. So obviously my passion with EverGrow rides on the fact of these rewards.
Right.
The fact that you can generate a passive income throughout. I mean, I intend to hold this for as long as I'm around.
Yeah.
So the idea of, 401ks people are investing in for the long-term investment for, retirement. I think the idea of these hyper-deflationary tokens allowing you to have passive income is even more promising. Mm-hmm. And now an idea of a DAO implementing this strategy, I think would be, it's got me excited. I've done my research. I've looked in, and I think that's, the dividend was always a draw to the older investors. And I think this is kind of the new and improved version of the dividend, which, kind of back to that buyback and burn with, if you had a burn wallet, you can send tokens over there and burn them, diminish that supply, increase the price, generate more rewards, and then continue with your investments. And, on a level playing field where everyone has input, everyone can have a say of what's going on. I think that's something where, I'd be very excited to join ROIS Podcast out, but I think you guys have a good start on leading towards that industry and getting a head start. I think a lot of people are getting involved in it and understanding it. I mean, I'm kind of new to understanding it, but I think you always want to be on the new cutting edge technology, and I believe you guys are on that direction right now.
Oh, thank you, man.
Thanks,
we
man.
Appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, what do you think about the DAO, Roy?
I just like a question for like you on that is just what makes that different than traditional ways that like kind of companies or things are set up wise. I know the DAO gives like the people that kind of like say, but like what does that really mean?
It's everything in Web3, like so much of it is based off of community, and like that's why people, if you're going to be a part of a project like an NFT project or even like a new crypto, odds are they have a Discord or a Telegram, something to make sure that the community is like able to communicate with the developers, the marketing people, whatnot. And it's crazy how much they rely on the community, because just an example, like Meerkat Millionaires, they're a top project on the Solana blockchain, right? For NFTs and whatnot. And they are a DAO in itself. And originally they weren't. They actually, the people who created Meerkats, they ended up kind of like rug pulling, or they weren't. I don't want to say it was a rug pull because it wasn't, but like at the same time they just kind of like stopped working on it. And so what happened was, for a while, and dude, at a point, Meerkats were selling, their floor price was like 20 something Solana, which is nuts,
Yeah.
And then it went all the way down to like 1.5 Solana, and now they're climbing back up because what happened was the community took over. Like, they just were like we still believe in this project, like even though the leaders don't, or they just wanted to do something else. So community takes over, and now, dude, if you go on Twitter and you look up Meerkat Millionaires, it is nuts how much like traction they're getting. And the floor price, I think it's like at 4.5 Sol now. And the other day it was like we've been seeing it steadily climb. And so the thing about the DAO is like, if you have a good community and you have people that are, and that's kind of like who you want to buy in, because you don't want, some fucking guy who's buying in to just like kind of short it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
To just do like a quick short-term gain.
Exactly, dude. And like the DAO is something that everyone is going to be playing a part of, because what happens with DAO is you go into like the DAO page for example, we'll say ROIS DAO. There's a governance protocol, which means like when you join the DAO, you get airdropped a one ROIS token, and that gives you the ability to vote on new updates, or like, say we want to make a new treasury within our DAO that has like Avalanche or like, Luna, something like that. Like, it's up to the community to vote on that. We don't get to like, as a sole person, like we can't, or just like me and you, we couldn't be like, you know what, we're going to do this without without anyone else's permission. And so it kind of like, you're bringing together all these minds. And if, say, you have 1,000 people in a DAO and you put up a vote, you can decide, like the thing that we get power over is like the time limit of how long, something has to be voted on. So we'll give it 3 days, or and like those are called proposals. So like we give something 3 days, say only 50 people voted out of the 1,000, whichever, if it has more yeses or nos, then whichever one it has more of by that time frame is what ends up happening. So like it's just, I don't know, it's a very like just kind of community driven thing that benefits everyone if everyone keeps it going.
Yeah, and especially those that are more active and the ones 100%. That like can drive it in that direction, because those are going to be the people that ultimately get to vote.
Yeah,
and then like get to push it in a way that they see it going forward.
Yes, dude, and it's just like it's cool because like something else is there are DAOs that are on Ethereum, obviously, and then there's ones on Solana. Now, preferably, I think Solana has more potential, at least starting out, because it doesn't cost as much money. The fees aren't like, you don't have to pay $80 to start it. Like you start it with a few cents. And then B, like you can go on to, it's called Realms. Here, it is Realms .today, realms.today, and it'll show you all of the different like Solana or Solana DAOs that have been set up on this platform. I mean, you have to go and like create a governance token somewhere else, but like they use this thing called Realms, right? And something big that we might as well just show the people is this thing called MNGO. And what MNGO is like, it's its own DAO that was made on the Solana blockchain. And like here, I'll show you. So it's like long and short everything. It's a DEX. It's a decentralized exchange powered by Solana and Serum, which is really cool.
Right.
And they actually have their own DAO as well, and that was made using Realms, which I can show right now. It's one of the top ones on here because they just, their treasury is like, they have like 300 million.
And so what's going on here inside of the one we're looking at? This is a MNGO DAO?
So this is MNGO. This is like its own platform, but they have this is how it was funded, like this is how the MNGO token got value.
Yeah.
So this is their treasury balance. And as you can see, like, even though I'm not a part of their DAO, I'm still able to view like, the things that are going on within it. So like, here, let me zoom in. So as you can see, like this one, close unwanted token accounts. Yes votes. Geez, that's a lot of.
Yeah.
No one voted no.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, like they, look at this. They clearly have a strong community. What is this? Add prize for Oracle, or add price Oracle for UXD. And then you can comment, your thoughts, ideas, what you think. And so it's just like, I don't know, it's a new thing that you're going to be hearing a lot of, like, just going into 2022, continuing on, like something that they have been saying is like, this is 2022 is the year of the DAO. I read it in Mercari, I think that's how you pronounce their name, their white paper for 2022, and just their estimates of what they think the crypto market's going to do. And dude, the amount of time they spent talking about DAOs is insane. And then like I got this book, audiobook called it's like, it talks about Austrian investing, and it's basically like the DAO of investing. And they talk about this, like how it started. The DAOs started back in China during like the Chinese, like when they were like, I think it was like the Chinese wars or whatever, when they were fighting within each other, right? So they needed to come up with like a free market. And so like this method of investing, or like philosophy of investing, kind of like came about. And it's just, I'm not going to try to explain this part of the book, because like I would butcher it and it would sound fucking horrible, and then no one would want to go, check it out. But like, dude, it's cool how many things are coming out just revolving around DAOs. So like, I don't know, we might as well make one, and which we're doing. And so like, the thing that's going to differentiate it is like there's NFT DAOs, and then there's, financial, like fund, or geez, what are they called?
Kind of like a hedge fund DAO?
Yeah, like a hedge fund DAO. cool thing about the Solana one or the Realms thing is you can do both. You can have NFTs and you can have hedge fund DAOs, which are like, it's just more money. It's just like, it's a process, and we're just gonna keep chipping away.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, I guess the way it works is like everybody can vote, and like, if you're active, we can add stuff to it, right? That's how it grows. So like people vote, and then like it takes actions upon itself, and then grows,
right?
And whatever people are trying to decide, right?
Exactly, dude. And that's the thing. Like that's why community is so important. Whether you're investing into DAOs or NFTs, or I guess an NFT that is a DAO, like there's this one called Boryoku Dragonz, right? The floor price for one Boryoku Dragon is 200 Solana. You get paid.
Sheesh.
You get paid every day 7 Boku tokens. One Boku token right now is I think like $3, but before like crypto started crashing, one Boku token was $18. So you're getting 7 times 18 every single day for 7 years straight.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How do they even? It doesn't even seem feasible at some point with like 200 Solana.
The way that they keep this going is by having like like mutations or like having things to look forward to in the roadmap. So, and the way they do that, like a good DAO is set up, a good NFT DAO is set up so that people are active in the Discord. They're everyone's contributing. Everyone's like, and with something like that is one of the top like DAO passive income NFTs on the Solana blockchain. So like the community is going to be super active, and then like, it's like, oh, you can make money from selling the NFT, but why would you, you might as well hold it if it's doing well. And then like, we actually we kind of like aped into one, the Akumaverse, you know what I'm talking about? So that one's kind of like the Boku DAO. It's a little bit, I mean, it's just newer, so we're just got to see what happens with that. But like, look for things that have great utility, great community, and just a lot of room to grow. You know what I mean? Because if it's just a PFP and the art is cool, like, dude, that was fucking 2 years ago. Like, that's when you would have made money from that shit. Like nowadays, you don't want to buy into some NFT project that does not have a promising way of making you money. Yeah. Unless you're like an artist or some bullshit,
That's why you got to follow the people and follow the utility.
Exactly. Follow the people, follow the utility. That's what we're here to say here at ROIS Podcast,
Right on.
So, we just spoke about DAOs for an extensive amount of time. So what do you want to talk about in terms of like maybe, stock strategies or carbon, like what we were talking about our last episode?
Yeah, and I think that's important to kind of cover. I'm going to give you guys a quick snippet on it, then kind of turn it over to some other things. But how we've been talking about it since the beginning of the year, we talked about last year in the TQQQ and all that, everything being on fire, end of the year, great. And then at the beginning of the year, we told you guys, okay, things might not be as it is, as it was last year, so we need to change up our strategy a little bit. And our strategy now is a little bit more towards this thing called DCAing. And the DCAing comes from you having a set amount that you want to invest, or a set amount over a few years that you want to invest.
What's it stand for?
Dollar cost averaging. And you move into your position like month after month. Like say you want to spend $120 a year on one stock. So you put $10 in every single month until you got to the end of the year, and then you have $120 invested. Now, what that's good at is it helps mitigate risk in the short term if you believe in the stock in the long term. And that's great. And you might be thinking, great, Roy, I've followed along and I'm down like 10% from what I put in. Like, great job. And it's just like, well, it's not all clear cut, and it's more of like an investment thing, and we're setting up to build an investment for our long-term future.
Right.
But what we can do in the short term to somewhat offset some of the losses with the volatile markets is by buying puts to the underside, just in case the stocks decrease in price. We are able to like make up some of that in option gain. And this one, it would be buying puts to protect the downside as we know, as it goes down, like that's what buying puts is betting on, that it'll bounce to the downside.
So it'd be like buying a short with crypto.
Yep. And so with that, what I've been liking to do is I like to be in on the entire market. So, there's SPY for the S&P 500, and there's the QQQ for the NASDAQ. And so we talked about the TQQQ and the SPXL.
We were big advocates.
Big ones of those. But now I'm big advocate for it in a hedging way, and that you can own some of the put values for that to the downside.
Mm-hmm.
And on days where like your stock positions fall off, that increases exponentially to the downside, with that being a leveraged ETF in the first place. Then you're trading options on that, which are exponential decreases or increases. So if it does fall off in an expected period of time towards a price that you have, you can make up a good amount of what you lost in a day. Yeah, it's just about testing your thresholds, knowing how much you have to invest. And like for me, on my typical day, like I could see swings of maybe $200 up or $200 down.
Wow.
So I'm looking for volatility, that kind of an offset in volatility on a weekly basis. I could probably offset somewhere around $200 or $300. Damn. I'm not trying to offset the entire thing, because if I'm wrong and it goes to the upside, I just lost all that into what I bought. And that would be kind of just like, well, I made a gain, but I was like putting my foot on the brakes as I was doing that. But what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to map up like the maxes and the mins. And when it kind of appears to a max, we buy to like the downside and we ride the waves in terms of that. And then I continue DCAing it. So this is a long-term strategy. Even if it continues down like this, okay, you have puts, you made the profit on the puts down, your overall position still down until like DCA, and then it continues back up. And this is only a strategy that we're using on companies or indexes that we believe in for the long term, because eventually it's going to pull itself out of that fluke and then like continue on to the upside.
And that's something like I think maybe a little different from how this podcast, when we originally started, we were always we were talking a lot about like, short stock, or not like shorting stocks, but like options.
Yep.
So more short-term investments. But now you're saying like, you've been getting into more long-term investments. Is there a reason why?
Yeah, and that's what's been laid out on our investment page, or on ROIS Investments. We've made some adjustments to the website. And if you go into how I trade, we talk a little bit more now about what the market conditions are. And that's how it's going to affect what our trades were. Last year, 2020 and 2021, funny as it is, COVID caused a bull rally in that period of time after a short sell-off as a bear rally, like a bear breakdown.
Right.
So after that, it just kind of ripped to the upside. And there's so much to just buy. And like the strategies I laid out there, we have 3 different market strategies. There's 3 different market conditions, And there's the bull market, there's bear market, and there's a confused market. And those all kind of take different sort of tactics to make a profit and allocate where you want to go in the long term. But I would say that it's always important to like be building a portfolio and investing, because there's these companies that are going to win out so much in the long term.
What do you think, like in terms of like the market we're in right now? What do you think it is?
It's range bound. It's confused. It's the number. It's the 2 option that we talk about on the website, but it's confused. And it's range bound, and it's bouncing up, and it's been really easy to kind of like trade because of that. And that's where like you supplement it with puts just in case you're wrong. But you buy low, sell high. I guess that sounds great, but you got to see kind of like on the like chart where it's like going to top out and where it's going to bounce back based off of its like prior downtrend or uptrend. And right now it seems like it's kind of fading off into a bear market.
Right.
But we don't know. Things are starting to kind of like slow down in terms of like what we're seeing coming in for our projections wise, and we have inflation numbers through the absolute roof. So I'm not sure what the kind of consumer looks like going forward. But I just gotta hope that in America things kind of stay picked up, and we'll see like continued growth through those like top buyers.
So you're voting on America.
Always voting on America. Yes. That's one thing we've always done here, and it's never give up on America.
Yeah. So if you're out there and you're watching and you're voting on China, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, this ain't the place for you.
So Ozog, man, for those of you that don't know, Ozog is an engineer at Ford. Very smart man here. So, I don't know how much you're allowed to talk about like certain things going on within the automotive industry, but like, what are you like? Are there any trends or anything that you've been seeing lately, working behind the lines?
Yeah, I could break some stuff down. I would say that there's been a sharp rebound recently in March with the third straight monthly gain in the U.S. Factory activity. So this is signaling maybe that we're past the woes of chip shortages and manufacturing production being down. It's very exciting because I think manufacturing, which accounts for close to 12% of America's economy, has benefited from this shift in spending to goods and services during this pandemic. Manufacturers still have struggled to cope with the strong demand. There's a lot of demand right now, so it's been a huge supply chain issue, getting parts, getting all the right equipment. So obviously this has been causing issues across many different companies as well. But I know this is something that's out there in the news. You can know that. The U.S. motor vehicle and parts production shot up 7.8% last month. Largest increase since October after a downward revised drop of 4.6 in February. So total assembly of cars and light trucks rose to nearly 9.5 million vehicles at a seasonally adjusted rate, and the highest since January 2021, up from 8.3 million the month before. So I think the auto industry, as a lot of people have been saying, is on its comeback. Production did plunge because of those chips, like I mentioned, but I think we're heading in the right direction. I would say, obviously despite just even COVID, I know with China, there's a lot of stuff going on. We can obviously speak about what's, the travesties going on in Ukraine and that whole war. I have a friend who's he has family in Ukraine. He was from Ukraine. So I'm very connected with what's been going on. I pray for all those, who've been affected. Obviously, it's not been an easy time for them. I guess all we can do really now is just send our prayers and obviously, send crypto. Crypto's been useful to send over as, packages and help. So I'll always keep them involved and make sure we send our condolences and try to help them as much as we can. I'd say back onto automotive. It's tough to transition from that, but I would I'm going to mention a few stocks that I think in general, kind of what I break down is what I think are in the market, what could be positive, negative, my opinion. But I think there's some fast growing stocks. Obviously, number one would be Tesla, in my opinion. Gigafactory getting launched out in Texas
and
the other day.
The newest one in Europe as well.
And the newest one in Europe as well.
What is a gigafactory?
Gigantic factory for Tesla.
It's huge. He had a Cyber Rodeo, so it was a huge thing down there. Yeah, he's crazy man.
You got to check it out. He's literally wearing
a
rodeo
cool.
get up.
Very cool. Yeah, take a look. But I'd have them on my radar. They're sitting at I think 866 market cap billion. Wow. So I mean, they have a lot of room for growth. I think even at this point, around 65%. Another one I would say would be Li Auto Incorporated. I think they, given their small market cap around 28.1, I think they can really hit a high potential revenue growth rate of close to 160%. So that's another one I keep an eye out for. They are a China-based company, so they design and manufacture these electric vehicles. So given the electric vehicle surge going on right now, something to keep an eye on. I'd say stocks that are more valuable, some car stocks, I'd put Ford in there. Not have to be a homer, but I do think that given our launch right now of the F-150 Lightning, which I'm currently working on, it'll be a big celebration coming up. The 26th, check the news, big day. So keep your eyes peeled for the news on that day. But that will be the let me see exactly, what was that? That will be the first electric pickup truck to enter full scale production.
Wow,
that's crazy.
So this is
congratulations.
News to be broken very soon. Very exciting stuff, and it's good to be on the ground floor, kind of part of it.
Dude, that's dope.
It's unique challenges, obviously, as it's such a different challenge that you face, but it's been really rewarding, and it's been really great to see. So hopefully everyone is excited about the potential of that vehicle, as well as seeing it on the road, and hopefully you guys like it. So
that's nuts, man. And I saw the other day that Tesla's their pickup truck they owned, like they completely got rid, like you can't buy it anymore. So does that mean like now Ford is like the only one that's going to be having a electric pickup truck out there?
I think there's going to be some competition coming up.
But like as of
hearing of it, but as of right now, I think that they are. They'll be the first one at their full scale production. So the rest will also just be a catch up. But given that it is already just one of the best selling vehicles in the world, it will. Hopefully the demand continues to increase and we see some good returns. But that's something to keep an eye out for the next week or two. I think those are some main ones I was looking at. I was looking at Porsche. I think that they're a good value given their price and market cap. They have a 12 months trailing price earning ratio of 3.7. So it's something to, if you want more value, that's not a bad option. I mean, like I said, not a financial advisor, but these are three that I've been looking at that I think, if you want to take, ROIS approach, which I think is a good one, given whatever market you're in, these are some automotive stocks I would keep an eye out for. And yeah, that's about all I got right now for automotive, but that's some new information. Hopefully some information, viewers would like to hear about. So.
Absolutely.
Right on. And I just wanted to hop in on that. And I think it's funny that you say it might be a value stock for now, but Porsche, actually, I heard a news a while back that they were the people that had gotten the official go-ahead from Apple to go ahead and start making their Apple car.
Oh, dang.
So it's just a little something that they have in the works. But I think that there's rumors that the Apple car might be started with like two or three different car companies now.
Oh, okay.
And then just getting that kind of out there as well. So a little sneak peek. That's something I like for Apple in the future and one of their car partnering people.
So like, how like, I don't know, I'm trying to think like a subset of like, is Apple going to be a subset then of like, Porsche or are they going to be like their own automotive company?
I'm going to kind of think about it as just like, there's like a bunch of, it's a conglomerate at that point. Gotcha. And then where it sits is it's kind of a rival of Tesla, I would say, in its best. Is that Tesla is so hard to value traditionally in that it's not a traditional car company. It makes a lot more, and a big thing about what they have is the technology involved and their battery production, which was pretty top tier in terms of what they had going forward for the vehicle. So that's why it can be worth nearly $1 trillion at like this day and age. And the thing that people kind of forget about Tesla and why I think it's very popular going forward is it's kind of like America's baby, like in terms of how much like protection it's had. They've had a bunch of grants from the government, and they basically have been just kind of pushed through in production because I think America realized that they really needed that to stay competitive worldwide. And that's kind of got them sitting at the top.
Thank God for Elon Musk.
And when you look at like the top people in terms of like that industry, it's like Elon Musk and then a bunch of people from China in terms of like the next biggest like richest people that build cars. So you kind of gotta let Elon do whatever, or else he's just gonna like kind of be like, hey, see you later. I'm gonna go work with them.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of why it's funny right now in terms of what he's doing with Twitter.
Right.
In terms of him being like, oh, I think I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it all, actually.
He's the only guy that can do that.
Yeah, and then he's just like, actually, Tesla has a 10% stake in it too. And then he's just like, I might take it public, like private after that. So
yeah,
it's just kind of interesting. I think that people are too scared at this day and age to kind of like mess with him, and he's got a little bit of like a runaround power.
He does, dude. He definitely does, and we're like. What? So how we offered to buy Twitter? What was like the verdict on it? With everyone, shareholders.
I thought that I saw something where they're going to implement some sort of strategy, and then it said that all shareholders will now realize full value of Twitter shares or something like that. I wasn't really sure but I think it's kind of like in a way a hostile takeover of Twitter to try to either boost it up, which I think a lot of people are thinking might not happen, and which they really think is he's just going to get involved and burn it down.
It's the only social media app that that's really like, kind of maintained its popularity. Like, I know it's like newer than Facebook, but at the same time, it just makes so much more, like, it's so much more convenient for like little updates, whether you're following a random person or like a company or crypto or whatever, like it's so useful. It's so useful. They've already they've been integrating like NFTs as your like little icon, which is like kind of a step towards this, showing a little bit of status, like through having NFTs and whatnot. And I don't know, it's just it's a company I think is going to stay around for a while. However, there is that competition. There's that DESO. Nick Ozog, have you ever heard of DESO?
I've not.
Right, we're going to show you this, man.
It's fun, yeah.
So I like randomly saw this on one day. Like, so I see a lot of the like updates and stuff for crypto and whatnot through like Google, because it just, how it has its algorithm and whatnot. And so I found this thing. Welcome to DESO, the Decentralized Social Blockchain. DESO is a new layer 1 blockchain built from the ground up to scale decentralized social applications to 1 billion users. Look at like already no downloads over 100,000. Wow. Total transaction volume 1.4 billion, and that's the average cost per like DESO token. So right now would be an ideal time to get in if you wanted to get in. I don't really have any solid opinion on it yet because I haven't done enough research, but it seems like, it seems pretty promising. Look at this. The Diamond is the number 1 source of community and discourse for creators on the web, completely powered by the DESO blockchain. So it's a blockchain in itself, which is pretty cool. And it's, so like, dude, this thing has a lot of potential. I didn't even know about this Diamond thing.
And it's like a pay to tweet, right?
Oh yeah, you get paid. You get paid for using it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at this. Browse over 200 apps built on DESO, Polygram, Prosper Cloud. I don't even know what the hell that is, but it looks great.
You get paid to just be there. It sounds like I'd like that.
Been mentioned in these Forbes, the New York Times, Bloomberg, CNBC.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff. It's 100% open source. So if people really wanted that, that decentralized social media that, like what Trump tried to do with Truth Social, but Truth Social, I'm gonna be honest, it's fucking not good, dude. I was on the wait list. I was able to make my account now, dude. That shit is fucking it's so jank, man. Like the refresh, like it's just not smooth, It's not smooth at all. Like the first few followers I get are like, one was LGBT and it stands for Let's Go Brandon, or like it's just like, dude, like it's all like very like super alt-right like shit. Like, if you're trying to get, I just want like to have another social media platform, aside from political views. Like I'm not even, I'm not taking that into account here. Like, but it is annoying when your whole feed is like, fucking just, a bunch of stuff about the corrupt left and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, like, okay, we get it.
Yeah. That's a little too.
It's just like, relax,
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of how they had it set up for you.
Yeah, and so I don't know. Twitter right now though is the most relevant for sure.
Right,
it's going to be around for a while, I believe.
Yep.
But yeah, man. I'm trying to think. Ozog, do you have any other things you want to, comment on, talk about?
Yep.
That's kind of all I wanted to talk about. It's nice to hear more about DAO. I liked your take on the how to trade in different markets, Roy.
Yeah,
I thought that was very interesting. I hope everyone who's engaged during that conversation and can check out that page, plug it in. What is it exactly?
ROISinvestments.co.
Yeah, exactly. I'd take a look at that. I think he has the right direction in mind. And then as well as that DAO, I just think that's the you guys are on the right direction with both of those. So
yeah, man. Any last thoughts on EverGrow Coin going forward? Just you think it's definitely?
I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm as you could say, the edge of my seat, waiting for these new things to come out, because it's even interesting the fact that what these utilities can end up being. They could end up. I was in a Twitter Spaces the other day. They were talking about, Abstract could go public and they can be involved with EGC.
Oh, wow.
And Creator could go public as a utility. It could just be an app. It's going to be on an app. Not yet. I think it's just going to be on a mobile desktop or application like that initially, but that could just go public. So these utilities could become mainstream within our everyday, stock market as well as your crypto market. So
wow. So you're saying it would go public on the stock
I don't know
market?
about the legitimacy of what that could happen and the steps it would take, but I do know that was something discussed that, that could be a legitimate thing that could happen. So
that'd be sick.
That'd be massive.
That's not how I even view it. I view it more as just the fact that these utilities, I think, will generate a lot of volume, a lot of attention, and it would create all this buyback and burn and revenue for the project. So
yeah, definitely.
That's what I'm excited for. So
dude, that's a great that'll be sick, and I could see that happening. I mean, Solana, what we were looking at earlier with MNGO, that's a SPL like token, so that was made on Solana. I mean, and it's made a name for itself. So I could see something like that happening with EverGrow Coin once EverGrow Coin reaches its like full potential, or I guess it'll never reach its full potential because it's always going to keep going,
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, thanks for coming on, Ozog. We really appreciate it. You're our most frequent guest, and straight money, bro.
Yeah. And with
thank you guys for having me on. Best of luck, and keep in touch.
Of course, man.
Thanks,
you.
Ozog.
Peace, bro.
See you guys.